it's another side that, like, wants to take more. Wants to go that one more round. Because, like, going in one more round when you don't think you can, that's what makes all the difference in your life. You know what I mean?
Full house today. Wow, this is great. Okay, well, how do we start this show? Okay, welcome to One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast. This is episode 9. Oh, we just lost Katie again. Where did she go? What is going on? Katie, come back.
Obviously, the man, in quotations, is trying to thwart our podcast, and they've targeted Katie.
Katie, are you back? What's happened to you?
I don't know. It keeps you guys keep not being able to hear me. I feel like. Anyway, I apologize.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
It's not your fault.
I personally think it's the patriarchy trying to silence Katie.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
It's,
Okay.
Nowadays.
We've got a couple of pieces of business before we get into our show discussion or movie discussion. I'm really excited about today's episode because it's the first date. Classic scene. I look forward to talking about that. But Katie, you actually have an email, and that individual, Dave, is actually in our live discussion for the first time on Discord. So welcome, Dave. And welcome to everybody in our Discord.
Hey, Dave. There's
Welcome,
lots
Dave.
of people today. Hey, guys. This is a good episode for people to join, too. So,
well, and
love it.
I think they're all here to see Katie. I mean, because, well, let's be honest. They're not here to see Kyle and Ryan's face, I'll tell you that much. Okay, go ahead. What's that email from Dave?
He says, I'm almost caught up after starting at the beginning of Going the Distance. I was the first to join the Discord server, but haven't joined in yet because that would feel like starting a book in the middle. I'm looking forward to joining in soon. Thank you guys for shortening my commute and putting a smile on my face. Dave Schroeder. Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
So welcome to our chat there, Donald, Dave, and everyone. He's actually took an early lunch break, he said, in our chat here to watch us. So, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I do have something a little bit controversial, and I don't even know if this person listens to our show. If he does, maybe I won't say his name. I won't say his name because I don't want to call him out publicly on the podcast. But if you follow the show on Twitter, go One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast on Twitter, you can see this exchange. And I didn't get much into it, but I want to say I hope everyone had a good Pride Month. Did everyone have a good Pride Month?
It went fast.
Oh, it's over. That's right.
Yeah. I only had gay sex 5 times. It's the most I've ever done, but it was fun. No, old joke.
I didn't even make it to our parade this year, and it was even a nice day. But anyway.
Well, speaking of parades, congratulations to your Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah. I did. I usually try to make it to at least one game, but I didn't this season at all.
Oh.
Tickets were pretty expensive because they're pretty good.
Stanley Cup Finals, yeah. So good job to the Colorado Avalanche. Yay them. And they had their parade in Colorado. Of course, June was Pride Month, and we here at the One More Round podcast, we are supporters of the LGBTQ. How many letters there are? Plus
after.
Of course, we're supporters of them, supporter of the movement. We don't get political on our show or anything like that, but I showed my support in the Ryan Silly way on Twitter and on Facebook by showing, of course, the Rocky 3 gif of Rocky and Apollo hugging in the water.
Oh yeah. In the water. Yeah.
So I just wrote Happy Pride Month. That was what I wrote.
They're bromance.
Yeah, of course, they're bromance. It's a beautiful thing, right? So I wrote Happy Pride Month, one, just to show my support of Pride Month and also just be a little bit fun with it, right? The Rocky Apollo bromance. So this individual goes, please don't make Rocky political. That was the comment. Okay. I'm like, so I said, we aren't, but thank you for your concern. Also, don't watch Rocky Part 4. Okay, now then I got a response. So here's the response, and I didn't bother responding or blocking. But here's the person's response. Okay, here's the response. The response was, "You're attempting to associate Rocky with the far left wing LGBTIQ plus movement, and implying that Rocky 3 had homosexual undertones." which it does. I'm not implying anything.
Was that the end of the comment?
No. He goes here, Part 4 had political elements, but it wasn't glorifying homosexuality and gender dysphoria. Also, the politics in Part 4 is what Sly actually wanted. So I bowed out. I'm not engaged with this. So if this individual listens to our show, that's your right. And as a military member, I fight for everyone's right, or will defend everyone's right to freedom of speech. You can feel what you want about anything as long as you don't cause physical harm to people or don't stop them from expressing what they feel. But that being said, okay. So are there sexual undertones in Rocky 3? Absolutely. Look, here's the funny thing. I love it how straight guys will watch like wrestling or the Rocky films, and all we see are glistened, oiled down, Vaseline dripping masculine bodies on screen. These people get so like uptight about homosexuality. It's like, dude, you were watching some pretty sexy men on screen hug and everything else pretty much in the ring.
Even say there was no homosexual undertones or whatever to Rocky 3. We'll go with that. Or just hypothetically, we're going to say that there was none. It's a joke.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
It's a joke. People always say this, don't bring politics into whatever. What they're actually saying is, don't bring politics I disagree with
exactly
into whatever. Because if you said something that aligned with his politics, then he would never say that. He would never be like, no politics. We got to keep it pure. Like, it's bullshit. Like, this person does not like the LGBTQ community at all, obviously, and then they feel offended that you're bringing Rocky, this sacred cow, into it. My message to this listener is, fuck yourself.
Well said, Kyle. Also, Brian, I just want to point out that by no means were you being political at all. This person was politicizing it, not you. It was a joke.
Truth.
Also, I will just say, it sounds like he's like uber conservative, and that's, you can be whatever you want. When we get to some of these scenes in the later movies, I want to get your viewpoint, because obviously as a woman, a straight woman, it is major eye candy for me. Obviously, like, you guys, I'm sure, I appreciate the sculpted nature of their physical appearance, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And that's actually one of the criticisms of Rocky Balboa, the sixth film, is that the opponent, even though he's a real-life boxer and he can really kick the crap out of you, it's not that movie physique villain is like the Drago figure or Clubber Lang or Apollo, of course. Even Tommy Gunn was a beast of a man, right? So anyways.
From what I've heard and what I've read or even experienced, from the male perspective, like say you're watching one of those movies or just a Rocky movie there are some men who they'll watch that and in their mind they take the place of the male in that film. They kind of imagine that is them. And so that's how they can watch that. Where other men don't like that, they can't do that. They'll typically watch films with just women. Like, it's either you're either voyeur or you're taking the place of that person. And I think to a degree with like the Rocky things, you could see like their physiques or whatever, and you're not necessarily like sexually attracted to it, but you may just enjoy seeing it because you can almost fantasize that that's you there, that you're doing this. Like you kind of live vicariously through that person.
Makes sense.
I like this comment from Louise. Louise, he's great at bringing up past episodes from the old days. He goes, one of the funniest episodes of the original podcast, Going the Distance, was when Ryan and Ruben broke down how Rocky and Apollo wore less and less clothes throughout their training.
Like it was like, you have to wait till the end to get the payoff. I think I remember something similar.
And then when they wore that outfits at the end of Rocky 3, when they're having their little secret fight, they are like glistening down. They're wearing these rock hard trunks. I don't know what that was about. Anyways,
it's like a protective thing.
They have,
I don't know.
A sculpted bulge in those trunks.
Yeah, like a Ken doll. Hilarious.
I also wanted to say in the last recording, episode 8, I actually had COVID. I didn't realize it at the time, and my voice is still recovering from it. I have been coughing for the last 10 days. So my throat is very itchy, and I apologize. My voice doesn't still quite sound up to snuff. If you listen to episode 8, I don't sound that great. I thought I didn't have COVID, but I tested right after we recorded. I sent you that message, Katie. I'm like, oh, I have COVID. Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling fine. I feel fine. My energy's great and all that good stuff, but my voice still isn't. Yeah, so I got to mute the microphone and cough like every 5 seconds. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll start the movie. So again, if you're new to our Discord, we have a full house. Click on the watch stream. That way you can see the movie as we talk about it. Of course, we'll just start, and we'll wait till Kyle gets back, but he'll just jump right in. Okay, you ready?
What's your sister like to do?
Ice skating. Adrian, come on, you're letting the heat out. Who pays the bills around here?
If you could increase volume, that'd be good. Otherwise, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why the volume out to you guys is so quiet. And I noticed that when I did the editing for the last episode, it was quiet as well. Oh, a couple things here. So anyway, so Paulie says, who pays the bills around here? That was a nice little revelation. I assume they both do, but I guess Paulie maybe makes more money. You talked about that, Kyle, where the meat packing people might make. Yeah. And then Rocky actually asked Paulie really quickly, what does she like to do? So he's about to take her on a date, and he says ice skating. He does actually take that advice from Paulie to take her ice skating. At this point, he didn't know what he was going to do with her, and he literally says, oh, she likes ice skating, so I'm going to take her ice skating.
Yeah, which we find out he has no ability to do.
Yeah, she can't ice skate, but she enjoys it. She just can't do it.
Yeah, she didn't fall for the most part, except that one time, so we'll give her that. In fact, I would have a hard time ice skating the way she skated. Mm-hmm. Anyway, if we're getting ahead of ourselves, are we going into this? I thought we were recording like the commercial and stuff.
I wondered too, Kyle, like the trivia and stuff. I wonder if we'll just maybe do that at the end with the commercial.
Oh yeah, trivia. Okay, no trivia. Thank you.
No?
Okay, everyone play it along. Yes, right. We got everyone here. Okay, yep. Trivia.
Okay.
Sure. I'm just getting my score sheet out so far.
We have Rocco in our Discord. Rocco is of course, the 12-year-old young lad who created this book right here.
Rocco, that's so excellent that you've done that.
That's
I'm
really
impressed.
All right, so here we go. Commercial break time. Here we go. And action. Oh, it's my turn.
Starts with you.
Okay. How about E.M. King?
Oh, he's too old and dull. How about Doug Greenberg? He's a good boy.
Nah, I don't feel heat from that name.
Luis Mozo is a good prospect. Exactly what are you looking for, Ryan?
This is what I'm looking for. The Rocky Trivia Book. 300 questions from Rocky to Balboa.
Rocco Muschettere. Never heard of him.
Look, it's the name, man. The Rocky Trivia Book. The listeners will eat it up. Now, who created Rocky? An Italian, right? What would be better than to feature one of his descendants?
He's a teenager. The conditions of your parole says you can't be around teenagers.
Parole nothing. I'll get it on Amazon for the low price of $8.75. Ryder Balkan versus Rocco Muschettere. Sounds like a damn monster movie. All right, yay! Oh my gosh. Here we go. So everyone play along at home. We'll reveal the answers at the end here from Rocco's book. Here we go. Question 11. What do the two banners that hang in the skating rink say? Oh, another good timing. Today's date. What do the two banners that hang in the skating rink say? Well, I don't know exactly what they say, but I think I know the general. So I'm just
gonna... Yeah, I think I have one, but I don't remember the other one. Now we're getting in the hard questions. Yeah. That's tough detail.
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay. Question 12. Now remember, everyone, keep your answers till the very end. No one write in Discord your answers. Okay. Question 12. Who says woman weaken legs? Okay. All right. We're feeling better about myself now. Question 13. True or false? Mickey was in Rocky's corner for the fight at the beginning of the movie. So I guess against Spider Rico. He doesn't want to say Spider Rico because that's an answer to the question, but we can say it now. Question 14. What did Rocky say when Juergens first asked him to fight Apollo Creed? Right, so we can kind of paraphrase that. I don't know what the exact answer is, of course, because I haven't looked at the answers, but you could say...
Well, I think it's just like affirmative or negative type of thing.
Okay. And last question. Who works with Adrian at the pet store? All right. Awesome. Boy, that first question... I feel a little bit better with the other ones, but we'll see what he says.
That first question, well, I for sure got it wrong because I have a question mark for the second one, and the first one I'm pretty sure isn't right. So, do you get a half point if you get one of them right?
Okay.
Oh, can we time out just for a second before you start it?
Okay.
I think I mentioned this, but the outfits here, Once upon a time, probably like, I don't know, some years ago, my boyfriend at the time and I went as Rocky and Adrian in these outfits for Halloween.
Nice. He sounds like a good fella.
So I have the glasses and
Nice.
and the hat and everything.
All right, are you going to take those off for us later there, Katie? Or sorry, I'm
You know what, Ryan? I will not allow you to force her into a corner, though, like that.
How many sweaters should I have on?
Hey, Katie, I always knew you was pretty under that hat and glasses.
Don't tease me.
We'll get to that. I think that's the next episode. It won't be this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Listen, I don't want no turkey anyway, you know?
But it was Thanksgiving.
What?
It was Thanksgiving.
Yeah, to you, but to me it's Thursday, right?
Of course, that classic line, to me, it's Thursday. I've used that so much throughout my life about holidays. Whatever day of the week it is, yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, I don't think so. But I find Rocky's socialization here really weird. He takes Adrian on this date. He doesn't ask her what she wants. He doesn't ask her what she wants to do. Anything like that. He's just like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And then she's like, well, it's Thanksgiving. She brings up a concern. He's like, yeah, I don't care.
Well, I think she's saying that they're leaving the house. Essentially, like, she's still kind of putting up a little bit of a fight. I'm a little bit making it known that she's upset that it's Thanksgiving and Polly is making her go on the date. I sort of took this as, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but men wouldn't be like, what do you want to do? They'd plan an evening out, or men would plan a date. It just was what it was. They weren't like, hey, what do you want to do?
I never dated in the 70s.
Me neither. I just like assume that based on movies and TV and what people have said, because it's changed so much. Even my parents will like ask about, they still have an olden times dating, what dating was in the 70s, because that's when they were dating, right. I guess.
Katie, did he take you to the malt shop?
Yeah, like, I'm like, well, that's not really how it works now. Like,
I took my first date to the zoo, and then I trapped her in the apartment. We had coitus, but
do such a good job of showing the awkwardness of the two of them.
It looks kind of
like,
quiet, you know?
Who should go first?
It's closed.
No, I think maybe we're just early or something like that, you know?
I love that. I think we're just early or something like that. I love that.
I was going to say, well, the first time I showed my wife this movie, it was a disaster. She did not like the Rocky character at all.
Oh, no!
She was like, why would he think that it's early? Like, this is so stupid.
I love it. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving night and they're early. But that's how Rocky thinks. It's not so much that we know that he's not punchy. He just talks that way. I think he's hopefully optimistic. That's what it is. It's like, it's not over yet. I haven't investigated every angle here. He knows it's close. He recognizes that because he goes right away into finagling mode with the owner-operator here, or the Zambodi guy. But we're going to see answers here. One of our questions, they'll be coming up. So look for the answers as we watch this.
I got one right. The one I guessed was right.
Which is that?
The Philadelphia Blades.
Nice. Okay.
I did not get the other one, though.
You! We're closed.
What?
I said we're closed.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I want to smooth this guy out here, so just wait here for a few minutes. I'll be right back, okay?
We could go someplace
No, it's
else.
okay, it's okay. Hey, listen, are you closed to the general public, or you just closed to everybody? You know what I mean?
Hey, look, it's after 6 o'clock. It's Thanksgiving. That's why there's nobody here. And besides, you ain't supposed to be in here. So do me a favor and not stay here, huh?
I just love that. So do me a favor and not stay here. I love the way this is written. And of course, Sly, as we know, wrote this. And that's a great way of writing. Like, can you just do me a favor and not stay here? Instead of like, guys, go away. It's closed. It's just a better way of saying that. So do me a favor and not stay here. I just love the way that's said.
I love when Rocky's like, are you close to the general public or just everybody?
I was going to comment on the exact same thing, Kyle. It's like, how are those things different?
They're not. But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting how Rocky interacts with people, the different modes he's in. Mm-hmm. Like he'll be in collector mode or with Gazzo mode, but he can smooth talk a bit.
You can. Yeah. He's not going to have to break this guy's thumbs, I hope.
He's a terrible negotiator here.
Before we get to that, of course, we know this Rocky trivia might be in the book. I'm not sure, but here's some Rocky trivia, of course. I think most fans know this, but if you don't, maybe Katie's friend who listens to our show, who's a newer fan to the franchise, I guess is what I'm saying, but they were supposed to have 200 extras here at the scene. This is a really amazing behind-the-scene moment. They didn't have the budget to pay all those extras, so they didn't have 200 extras. So they kind of said, well, either we do 200 extras, which we can't afford, or nobody. On the fly, so Sly on the fly had to rewrite the scene of how do we make this work where there's nobody here. This is one of those moments where we know this film was full of these moments. We know that. We're not saying anything revolutionary here. But this is one of these moments where the lack of outside support or the lack of budget, their guerrilla style type of filming, makes the film that lightning in a bottle. Let's pretend the studio gave them 1975. Let's say they gave them, you've got $70 million. We just believe in this movie so much. Whatever you guys need. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same for, like, it's something aesthetically is better about the film because it was low budget and they had to make these creative choices that actually makes the film better. So it just goes to show you that throwing money at problems doesn't always solve creativity.
You have to substitute with creativity. You still have to have the creativity because if you don't have the good creativity, your substitutions don't make sense. They're stupid. They take away from the film. People can't suspend their disbelief. But Sly did an excellent job here doing a substitution that kind of makes sense. The Thanksgiving thing makes sense. Why this guy's here at 6, I don't know. But I'm willing to let that go.
It was open during the day. That's my argument, is that because it is a holiday. Most businesses don't just close because of the holiday, because it's a good time to be open for the public, the people that are off work. So places like swimming pools or restaurants, for sure, they stay open because people are off work. They want to go do something fun outside the home. It's after 6, so they probably were open from 11 to 4 or something like that. Who knows?
Usually you close early on the holiday, and then all your employees and stuff go home for dinner, right? Like, this guy should be at his house eating.
For him, it's Thursday too, Kyle.
Yeah. There's a lot of us out there.
He's on his way. He's just finishing up, and then he's going to head home and have dinner. He says it's after 6, so it maybe it's like 6:30, and he's, dinner's at 7 or whatnot. And also, Ryan, to your point about my friend Kim, who is clearly not a diehard fan, so she did not know that, I can guarantee. Last episode, she texted me and she was like, what were you guys doing? She so did not get our bit, the call with Sly and the scene, the Adrian scene. I was like, oh my God, you didn't. And so I explained it. I'm like, you can tell that you're not a diehard fan because I guarantee every other listener got it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Could you do me a favor?
Hey, come on, we're not operating.
Look, this girl here ain't feeling well. Doctor says she should go out and exercise once in a while, and ice skating's probably the best thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so what do you want from me?
Well, hey, I want you to do me a favor. You can see she ain't feeling too good, so if you could...
And I love how he reiterates, look at that dopey girl over there. She looks sickly. I love the edit. They show her standing there looking all pathetic.
It's terrible. This has always kind of bothered me. He totally throws her under the bus. And I'm like, come on, Rocky, you like her.
I think he's right in the sense she probably isn't feeling super good right now emotionally. In reality, probably to cheer her up. Now, he is playing a health angle, which is bullshit. I don't think he's as bad of a negotiator as he's portrayed to be here. He's creating the sympathy story, like he's kind of doing a con job in order to get her on the ice. So this fellow here running the rink, he has all the leverage. Rocky pretty much has to just agree to his terms.
True.
Let her on the ice, I'd appreciate it. Only for a few minutes.
10 minutes, $10.
$10. How about $8?
Come on, it's Thanksgiving.
All right, $9, you got a deal.
You have the ice to yourself, $10.
Give her the blades.
I love that. Give her the blades. Another way of saying, okay, where do you want us to grab the skates? Or just that clever writing, give her the blades. Referring to the ice skates. And people that know hockey, they're called blades. Great writing, clever writing. And we talk about the bad negotiation, but this guy's just not bending. I think that's what it is. I don't think that Rocky himself is bad. This guy's not bending. Like, dude, it's a holiday. I want to go home. Give me the $10 or we're not doing this at all.
He has $50 from Gazzo. So I don't know why he's trying to negotiate down. To your point, his negotiating worked in that they allowed the men to skate.
Yeah, you got to skate for sure. But apparently Adrian likes to skate. We'll see how well she does here. Again, I've always wanted to see the deleted scene that doesn't exist of them going to the counter, grabbing her shoe size. I wonder what the whole conversation would have been like. Okay, what size feet do you have? And Adrian's like, I don't know, size 6 or 7.
I have a kid's 8 or something like that. I'm guessing Talia Shire just didn't know how to ice skate. I assume. I could just see them being like, okay, we're doing this scene, and she's like, I don't know how to do this, and they're like, okay, go ahead. Now, I guess Sly, they didn't have Blade. They didn't, like, he can't ice skate at all.
Can you imagine Stallone ever ice skating? So I would bet you dollars to donuts, Sly himself does not know how to ice skate.
He said that in an interview. He doesn't know how to skate. And so
I'm kind of surprised because he's athletic. Seems like he'd be able to pick it up.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
I could barely ice skate, which for a Canadian is shameful.
Me too. I can't ice skate very well.
I'm really bad at stopping effectively and stuff. I can't play hockey. My wife and I, when we went on our date ice skating, we both can skate, but it's like you have to go slow, and we're better than Adrian, but still. I think it would have been really bad if you had Sly suck at ice skating and her suck at ice skating. Like, it'd almost be kind of comical, and so it'd be hard. Like, you probably could get it work in some way, but I don't know. I think it was kind of neat the way they have it running here.
I agree.
Aren't you skating?
Nah, I ain't skated since I was 15. You know, that's when I started fighting, when I was 15.
There's a nice little trivia there. I don't think I've ever quite caught that. He started fighting at 15. There you go.
It's funny what people catch, because there are things that I'm like, oh, I've never caught that. And you guys were like, are you an idiot? How do you? But I've always remembered this. It's just funny what people pick up on.
Well, it's your brain. I can't,
Yeah,
my brain just, for some reason, that age clicked. I just never, if you were to ask me 20 seconds ago, what age did Rocky start fighting, I wouldn't have been able to tell you the exact age. So there you go. That's a good Rocky question. I don't know if it's in the book. Yeah, maybe.
It probably is.
Well, I want to comment here. Although Stallone apparently can't skate, I give him props. Jogging on the ice is probably more difficult than skating. I wonder how many times he fell, if at all, doing this scene.
Skating's kind of bad for the ankles, you know?
True.
You're a pretty good skater, aren't you? You know, like I was saying before on the way over here, fight used to be tossing me, but no more, you know? See, all I wanted to do out of fight was prove I was no bum, that I had the stuff to make a good pro.
Count.
Oh, thank you, Katie. Was that just one?
It was just one, yeah.
Recorded?
Oh, hey, I ain't crying about it because I still fight. I kind of do it like a hobby. See, I tell you what the trouble is. You see, I'm a southpaw.
What's a southpaw?
Oh, southpaw means you're left-handed, and southpaw throws your timing off.
His timing off, or does it throw his opponent's timing off?
Your timing is your timing, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. It is awkward. It can be awkward. It depends on the fight. It can be awkward fighting someone who is right-handed if you're left-handed or vice versa, because your jabbing hand, your forward hand, is facing their forward hand. Your power hand, both your power hands are far back from each other. So it can be a little awkward. Your timing, because you have to punch and then counter punch. If the jab's coming from a different place than you're used to, you're not used to fighting fighters with the opposite hand, it could be awkward. But a lot of fighters don't have a problem with it. If you're in the pros, like if you're someone like Apollo Creed, you should be able to fight left-handed people, no problem.
Now, he does explain where the paw came from. I think the captions here will help a little bit. Let's just play it out. He tries to explain. I know it's not officially the reason, but I want to hear Rocky's reason as to why it's called Southpaw.
We need to talk about the geography here.
Yeah,
after.
that's right. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, it throws the time.
No, he says here, throws the other guy's timing off. It makes them look awkward. That's fair.
Oh, it makes them look awkward. Nobody wants to look awkward. You know where southpaw came from?
9 minutes.
I'll tell you, a long time ago, there was this guy, maybe a couple hundred years ago, he was fighting he was fighting around, I think it was around Philadelphia, and he was left-handed, his arm was facing towards New Jersey, you see? And that's south. So then naturally they call him Southpaw. You see? Southpaw, South Jersey, South Camden, Southpaw. You know what I mean?
Now, I know the captions had it still P-A-W, paw. Isn't Philadelphia P-A?
Yeah. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
So Pennsylvania is the state of Philadelphia. Now, is there any truth to this? P-A spells paw. P-A is the sound paw. And I always wondered if...
it's like paw, like an animal.
But I wonder if it's a play on words both ways, because a lot of boxing comes from Philly. And I don't know if there's any connection or it just happens to be that P-A... Okay.
Dave, so first of all, my problem with Rocky's explanation is that, yes, part of New Jersey is south of Philadelphia. Most of it isn't. Now, he does say South Jersey, South Camden. Camden's the part of Jersey that's just across the river from Philly. So boxers, they move around the ring a lot. But his paw would be facing any given direction. It could be facing to Los Angeles, or it could be facing to Seattle, or it could be facing Texas, right? This is the Wikipedia explanation of the previous use of the term southpaw. It says the American Heritage Dictionary of the English language cites the conventional wisdom that the word southpaw originated from the practice of baseball arranging the diamond with the batter facing east toward the afternoon sun. Many claim that the term originated due to the orientation of baseball playing fields in order to keep the sun out of the player's eyes, and the resulting alignment of a left-handed pitcher's throwing arm causing the pitcher to have his left hand on the south side of his body. The term has been used for decades prior to that to indicate not usual.
Well, there you go.
I have heard that this explanation has been bullshit the whole time, but it's interesting. I wonder why they did that. That's just like another character flaw.
I don't know if he's trying to make a joke here, if that's what it is too, because he does like to tell funny stories and joke, because he looks like he's like, you get it. So I think he was trying to be clever with the name, so he didn't really know, but he's trying to tell a clever story about the origin of the name. So he wasn't being like, this is truly what happened. I think he was trying to be clever about geography and south versus north and all that stuff. It didn't land. Speaking of boxing puns, I don't think it landed with Adrian or the audiences of the movie.
No one has time to verify everything they hear, right? And I'm guilty of this myself. Have a bad habit of just repeating something they've heard from someone else as a fact.
Sure.
So you could have heard something like this and then just repeated it as a fact of bullshit, because how would she know anyway, right?
Well, it's a good thing we live in a society where we have the truth is always said on media and news, and we always repeat the truth.
Yeah.
Don't get this political, Ryan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. My apologies. Ugh.
I don't know. Things probably worked out for the best, don't you think?
Oh, there's one of the answers. Philadelphia Blades. There's one of the answers.
Yeah.
The other one I had, I don't want to say, well, it's coming up. I totally forgot Philadelphia Blades, so good job. I think half points should count. Man, that's a tough question, Rocco. Come on. But here we go. I think we'll see the other banner, if we haven't already.
Never got a chance, though, because you're left-handed, huh?
Well, that's absolutely true, you know.
This is a big moment here, so we're kind of glossing over this. Rocky said that he never really got a chance to be a professional fighter or whatever because he's southpaw. Like what Kyle was saying, that shouldn't matter. Yes, we know that if you're a good fighter, you're a good fighter. There was obviously other left-handed fighters that were champions or very close to it, I'm sure, in Rocky's age group or during that time or before. He mentions that boxing's a hobby. We understand this. We know it's his first date. He doesn't want to tell Adrian he's just another bum from the neighborhood. So he's underselling his love of boxing and how much he's been trying. He just first mentioned, I'm doing this for 15 years. But then he goes, but it's just a hobby. Not a big deal. So he kind of like combined brags about his hobby that he doesn't really, quote unquote, care about. But at the same time, when you hear those athletes say, I could have been a baseball player if it wasn't for my bum knee. That's kind of what he's doing here. It's like, no, you just weren't good enough for the majors. He doesn't want to admit it, but he's saying, it's because I'm left-handed. Nobody wants to fight me, so I never got a really good chance. And so it's kind of sad because we know that he's sad about where he's at, but he doesn't want to embarrass himself on a first date with Adrian.
I will mention, and I don't know if discrimination's the reason, but there have been few, especially up to this time, very few left-handed heavyweight champions. Now, granted, people who are left-handed only are like 10% of the population. And there was a guy, interestingly, Michael Moorer, Moorer. He was the champion in the 90s. He is right-handed. He moved up from light heavyweight to heavyweight. His trainer made him fight southpaw. So he fought southpaw despite the fact he wasn't left-handed, and he became champ. And then he got knocked out by George Foreman when George Foreman became champion again after all those years.
Oh, wow. Interesting, though, that he would change his fighting style to throw people off.
No tricks,
yeah,
no tricks.
There's like a shortage of left-handers. I don't know if it's because people don't want to fight left-handed people, but...
Well, Tony says it. Tony didn't want Apollo to fight him because he's a southpaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all great stuff. It does line up. So there is a degree of truth to what Rocky's saying, but we know at the same time it's not just because he's southpaw, but yeah.
Watch out.
So now he grabs Adrian. Didn't look like she was really falling as much as he's pretending that she might be falling. So I'm going to, first date, you slipped, did I catch you so you didn't dip? Or what? I can't remember the exact poem, but remember he's talking about their first date, Rocky doing that poem. And then the other part here is a bit of a retcon here. Because if you watch Rocky's expression, there's no real... But remember Rocky Balboa, when he's reminiscing about the dates with Adrian, he says, when I first touched her, it was electric. So this is the moment, if you want to retcon this moment. In this timeline right now with Rocky, when he first grabs Adrian, he's feeling the electricity between their bodies right here.
I just dislocated my finger. Look at that.
Oh!
No. Hey, wait, hey, it ain't your fault. Look, see? Look, I had it. It's an old wound. You see that? Look. See? Nothing that bends like that. See, I originally done it. Look, push the button. Bong. It works.
I love that. Bong. It works.
I also want to point out that this guy keeps yelling at them every single minute of the 10 minutes. He yells 7 minutes as they're doing this.
Now, of course, it's not real time. I mean, they can't do this whole scene for 10 minutes, so we just have to assume that they've done, they've gone around the ice chit-chatting. We're just getting the highlights of their conversation.
I want to show you something.
7 minutes.
Yeah, I originally done it. I carry pictures of all my fights. I originally done it in the Baby Crenshaw fight. You see that? Big baby's about the size of an airplane. I broke
both hands on his face. So that's cool, that little picture there. And he gets a picture of all of his fights. That's not uncommon. We do that with our Facebook and Instagram, right? We share everything. So to think that he carries pictures of his fights with him, that's pretty accurate. It's a big part of his life.
He said of all his fights, though?
Ones that someone has taken a picture of, maybe.
Yeah, or I take a picture of a lot of my fights, or I like to get pictures of my fights. Something like that. Oh, well. That's a pretty nitpicky detail, to be honest.
Did he have his own personal photographer that follows him around?
That's the thing, too, though, to appreciate. Like, I think that's one thing we take for granted now is how easily you could videotape and photograph things. Even in the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone 1976, right?
What was his record? He'd had 30-some fights, so, I mean, his wallet would be pretty thick, right? Didn't he have 30-some?
50-some fights.
Oh, okay.
He lost 20 fights and won 30-something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
On his face. I lost that fight, but that's a nice picture, don't you think? See how it works there? Real nice. Come on, you having a good time? I'll tell you, you can see I ain't too graceful, you know what I mean? I don't move well. But I'll tell you, I can really swat, you know what I mean? I can really hit hard.
This is interesting. This is really kind of cool. Kyle, you've mentioned this before, how information that we get in these early films translate to later films, because he mentions two things that are very apparent in Rocky 3 with Apollo's training. He's not very graceful, and we know that about Rocky. He doesn't dance in the ring very well. He doesn't move in the ring very well, but he can really swat. He's got the hardest punch. Apollo mentions that, why do you think I'm sitting here with you guys? Rocky has this incredible punch that just, when you get hit by Rocky, when he finally connects, it stings. Apollo Creed, the champion of the world, got knocked out with it, right? And then he doesn't move very well. So when he does that rematch in Rocky 3, of course, that's the whole point of that training with Rocky. It wasn't to hit harder. It was to move gracefully in the ring.
I appreciate in the film. Sorry, Ryan. I shouldn't have just transitioned like that.
No,
I agree with you, Ryan. As much as we criticize the harmony or lack thereof between films, especially with the timeline, I think would they make up for that in these films? A lot of the concepts carrying forward to other films, which makes you forgive the timeline stuff a bit easier since they're filming across decades, essentially. What I was going to say, though, what I found interesting, I appreciate they're using the film naturally to inform you about the character, right? They're naturally inserting facts to inform the audience of who Rocky is and a bit of his background and stuff like that. The only thing I find funny, and Katie, I'll ask your perspective on this. If you're on a date with a guy and he's talking about himself the whole time, how would you feel? I feel like he hasn't asked Adrian a single question about herself at all. He seems to be just focused on him.
I've noticed that watching this a lot, thinking that it was odd also. I'm sort of trying to explain it away, that he's just trying to fill silence because she's so shy. But he could ask her questions, you're right, and he doesn't.
I think that's exactly what it is. Rocky's a talker. Rocky has been trying to get her, I say alone, I'm not trying to sound creepy here, but to get her on a date and have one-on-one time with her. He finally gets to do it away from Paulie, away from an audience, away from Gloria. So he's just kind of got this data dump. He just wants to say everything at once because maybe in his mind he doesn't know. Am I going to get another chance? So I'm going to say I'm going to be clever, I'm going to be charming, I'm going to be funny, I'm going to tell stories about my life, tell her my hobbies, tell her my interests. blah.
Yeah.
This is what Rocky's doing. It's been so long, been a long time. Now he gets to finally like blah on her, and she is quiet and she's allowing it. But she's an audience. She's a captive audience. She's not ignoring him. She's listening.
Yeah, I think she is a listener. I think that this is one way they're compatible because I think she prefers to listen. Usually, I think this is bad form for dating if you're just talking at yourself the whole time like this. However, in this case, Adrian would probably be uncomfortable if you asked her too many questions. She'd probably feel like you're putting her on the spot. And so this is probably one way they fit well together. Is he's a talker, she's a listener. She'll talk when she's ready to come out of her shell. And until then, he'll keep talking.
Are you trying to tell me that he has gaps and she has gaps? Is that what you're trying to say?
Aww.
Yes.
I wonder if that will play out later in the film. We'll find out.
But I'm a southpaw. Nobody wants to fight no southpaw. You know what I mean? Huh?
Yes, Rocky, you've mentioned that.
You know how I got started fighting?
I love that little woo, because you know that slide. That's not in the script. Like, like slide in right after that line. Rocky will make a sound of woo as he slides on the ice. That was Sly just having fun, and I think they just kept it in the film.
He has incredible balance. He is running on ice in hard-soled shoes.
Yeah, there's no traction. Good point.
Maybe there's scenes where he wipes out. The fact he can run and slide like that, that's actually pretty impressive.
I have always thought this was strange. Like, she doesn't do anything to, like... I mean, she looks really pretty. Like, her face is really pretty. But this outfit, what is she thinking? She's just like a big blob in this heavy coat and, like, 18 sweaters.
I think it was 17 sweaters. Is that a trivia question?
Okay.
Was it 4? Was that the answer? Kyle's
yeah, because he's like, you must go wearing, what was it, 20 sweaters?
No, that's what I mean. What was his question?
Yeah, what did he say?
What did he say?
I think he said, like, 20 sweaters.
I'm going with 17. We'll find out.
Okay, so I'm going to put down for me, this is just for bragging rights, 20 sweaters.
You're saying
Brian, you saying 17. Katie, how many sweaters?
I think 17 too.
So we got Rocco in our chat still. So Rocco, let us know. Did you ask that question for the Rocky trivia? Just let us know. But nobody tell us the answers in Discord. Because, we'll find out later. So the question here is, you know why he started fighting. So now Rocky's going back to his fighting. Of course, he's obsessed with boxing and fighting. It's who he is. It's who you married, Adrian. So this is who he is. So he's going back to fighting here.
Huh?
No.
Am I talking too loud?
3 minutes!
My father, he's, my old man. He was never too smart. He says to me, you weren't born much of a brain, you know, so, you better start using your body, right? So I become a fighter.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Adrian, or Talia Shire, starts stumbling a little bit on her skates. Again, I think that's real, because she kind of laughs as she tries to recover. Then Rocky does say, why are you laughing? But again, I wonder, was that written in the script the moment Rocky finishes talking about his dad, and, you know, you should be a fighter because, you know, you're not very smart, so you should fight. We all know that line. And then Rocky goes, why are you laughing? Now, did Talia Shire laugh, or did Adrian laugh?
I think Adrian laughed. It might have been exasperated because she maybe slipped. It almost looks like when he said that, she kind of got excited and skated faster.
Okay.
Can you see the pace of her feet increase like that? That kind of tickled her funny bone, or maybe that's where she felt a connection to him. They had a parent tell them something both very similar but also opposite.
She's a professional actress, Ryan. I think that it's Adrian as well.
Fair enough. I guess we'll never know.
True.
Now, Rocky goes, why are you laughing?
Why you left?
My mother, she said the opposite thing.
What'd she say? What'd she say the opposite?
Now, I love that line. What did she say the opposite? That is not proper English, Rocky. What was the opposite thing she said? Now, that's proper English. But Rocky asked the question, what did she say the opposite? I always get a kick out of that.
I think he meant to say, what did she say, ? And then to clarify, new thing, the opposite.
Well, I think it's just like pointing out that people in natural conversation, everything isn't always proper grammar. You do make mistakes and you say things like that. You jumble your sentences around. And also it's a Rockyism.
I love the Rocky speak. I think we've mentioned that before. The way saying things normally that we would say, the character says it so differently, uniquely. It's got to be a Sly thing because I don't think people in Philly speak this way. It's got to be how he writes.
If I got the chance to talk to Sly, what would I ask him? And I think the question I'd ask him is there someone in your life that you kind of based Rocky on? Was there someone you knew who kind of spoke that way or kind of had Rocky's personality? Or is that just kind of a phantom creation?
Good question.
We'll never speak to him.
Said you weren't born much of a body, so you better develop your brain.
Did she say that?
You! Time!
We have that opposites attract, the gaps filling. What the mom was saying, you're going to have a hard time finding a man who's going to find you attractive, who's going to take care of you financially, so you better start developing your brain. Go to school, get educated, and take care of yourself. No offense to Adrian. Not only has she decided to be frumpy her whole life, but she's not even going to school or anything. She isn't developing her brain. She's also kind of a bum from the neighborhood. And I hate to say it like that because she's such a sweetheart, but she's not going anywhere.
She's similar to Rocky in the sense that she is smart, but like you said, hasn't actually developed that talent into some kind of accomplishment. Rocky is a good fighter. Naturally, he has talent. Like, he's not too graceful and stuff, but even Mickey could see that he has real fighting talent to be a good pro. And Adrian probably would have done well in university. He probably would have done well in some sort of career. But for whatever reason, both her and Rocky underachieved.
Oh my God, we're like the same, you and me, Kyle. I was thinking the same thing. Like, neither of them are living up to their potential. And
Exactly. And well, she does live up to her potential in Rocky 3. That's the hottest Adrian was. Leah Shire in the Rocky 3 movie she's just the most stunning. Even Adrian, even when she never goes to school or nothing. She just lives off that Rocky money. Once Rocky made that money, she didn't go to school or anything. Was a mother to Robert.
I've heard you and a number of other people say that Adrian's hot in Rocky 3. If she just wore nicer clothes, I think she's like stunningly beautiful in this movie. The first two movies.
Sure. We know she's dressed down a little bit because that's her character.
Yeah, her face
she looks great. She looks great later in the film, especially when she comes out of her shell. Depends what your preferences are. Like, I like really dark hair, and her hair's lighter in Rocky 3, so I don't like her as much in that film. But I don't know. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let us know in the comments below. Let's objectify Adrian. When is she the hottest?
I objectify Rocky. I can tell you when he's the hottest, so it's the same.
But you're allowed to because you're a woman. But if men objectify women, then we're terrible. It's so stupid.
I want to point out an interesting detail that I didn't notice before. So you see this guy by the Dr. Pepper machine, which I find weird to begin with, that you have a machine. Like, Dr. Pepper's kind of a secondary soda. Usually it's a Coke or Pepsi machine. Anyway, that's not the thing I wanted to talk about. You see on the door, there's a thing for sharpening, regular and custom, $2, $3. Below, it says no hockey players.
I can't read that because I'm blind, but that is a funny observation. Because they fight, do you think, or...
We may be the first podcast to mention, at the very least, that sign, good catch, Kyle, says no hockey players. I've never seen that before.
There's also a sign when they walk in. It says spectators, $2.
Even if you don't skate, you have to pay.
It's $2 back then would be like probably $9 or $10 now.
Ugh, I'm not paying money.
A lot of money just to watch people skate.
It is a lot of money to watch people skate, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Why do you want to fight?
Because I can't sing or dance. Hey, yo.
Aw, I love that.
Classic line.
That's a big step for her.
Yeah, she's warming up. Also, This is like a little off topic. Whenever he does the hey yo, it reminds me of another famous Italian actor in a TV show. Do you guys know who I'm referring to? Another character?
Oh, are you talking about Welcome Back, Kotter?
No, a little later in time.
I don't know why, but I'm thinking Steve Buscemi. Did you say
Tony
that?
Danza and Who's the Boss?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I heard they're rebooting that with Tony Danza and Alyssa Milano.
Like they're picking up later. Yeah. Oh, I hope Judith Light's going to be in it. Is she? Do you know?
I haven't heard about her for
Angela?
sure, but this is like hot off the press. Yeah. Welcome to Who's the Boss podcast. Let's do that for our next.
I know. Also, he's another super hot Italian who was a boxer. It all comes back. In Who's the Boss, he was a boxer. Like they show him boxing, but he was a baseball player, like a retired baseball player. Tony Maselli.
Oh, okay. Good. I like it. The date's almost over here, so Rocky says, don't fall, as he grabs her again. Maybe this is where he also felt electric, too.
I think this is actually the electric part.
Okay.
And did he say that she faked that fall? Like she pretended to fall or something? I swear he said that later on.
Is that
he did.
In the poem?
He said, where you pretended to fall. So that I could catch you.
That's right, so I could catch
That
you.
was terrific. I'm pretty good at this. You like the way I skate? You know, the last fight I had with this guy named Spider Rico.
Yeah.
He busted my head up there. You see that scar? I'll tell you, things get pretty rough in the ring.
Things get pretty rough in the ring. What a great first date. Dude, I don't think there's anything to change. I mean, it is a perfectly filmed, acted dialogue. We get background about parents. We get ages of when he started to fight. It's an amazing sequence of events and information. There's a lot that happens here. The way he negotiates, the way Adrian comes out of her shell. I mean, there's just so much. What do you guys think?
There is. It's a classic scene. I like the scene. To me, though, as I've grown up, there's a lot of cringe in it, too. Especially at the end there. He's like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. And he's like, I get my head busted up and stuff. Like, I just go, ugh. Like, don't say that.
There are a lot of things that I try and excuse because of the time period and who these people are. But also, I feel like it's maybe the most iconic date scene in a movie ever. Is there another one? Well, maybe in Pretty Woman when they fly to Italy for pizza.
When Harry met Sally, when she fakes orgasm in the diner.
True. Yeah. This one's up there. I think it's one of the most iconic date scenes ever. So yeah, it's...
There was a deleted scene actually in the Rocky film where Adrian, she faked her orgasm that first night. Okay. Okay, here we go. Rocky trivia answers. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Number 11. Boy, Rocco, he came out swinging with that one. Okay, I'll give you the answer, and I'll tell you what I wrote. And you tell me, judges, you let me know if I should get a point. Okay, so the question was, what do the two banners that hang in the skating rink say? It says, plan a skating party, group rates available, public skating daily, Joe Capade's skating school.
Whoa.
As a judge, I'm going to tell you right now what you're allowed to put to get a point.
Okay.
You just have to have the skating school part.
That's what I wrote. I wrote skating classes.
Yeah.
Joe Capade's part, maybe. But all that other shit with the group rates,
well, easy.
No.
Go easy on Rocco. He's just a 12-year-old kid there. No.
Sorry, Rocco.
So you got skating school or something like
classes.
that, Ryan?
I wrote skating classes, yeah.
Okay.
I got Philadelphia Blades, which is the other one. I got the other one right, I believe. I got gaps. You got gaps in your answers. Together, we fill gaps.
Officially, you didn't come up with the answer that he had, but I think we got confused by the question where the advertisement was two banners, and that's what he was saying. There was two banners together that advertised.
Okay, I got it wrong then.
I thought that he was referring to the two separate banners as two. Therefore, I think that you should each get...
I think Rocco would allow it too.
Is he still here? Let's ask him if he'll
he just left the Discord chat, Kyle. Yeah, I think he left the chat. He was just there, and you shat all over him, and now he left the chat. Oh, boy.
I think you each get a half a point.
No, we'll do 1 point. I think 1 point each is fair. I think it's fair.
I'm going to put mine as wrong.
You sure?
Yeah. I didn't get them both, and I didn't get the intended one that he had there. I think I could argue that my Philadelphia Blades should give me partial credit, but I'm okay taking that on this one.
You'll take that? Okay. So who says women weaken legs?
Mickey.
By the way, did anybody in our Discord get... I'm curious if anyone in Discord got number 11. I actually would let us know. Okay, number 13. True or false? Mickey was in Rocky's corner for the fight at the beginning of the movie. Of course, that is false. He had that other guy that was like, "I want to give you some advice." Oh, please.
Yeah.
14. What did Rocky say when Jurgens first asked him to fight Apollo Creed? And the answer is officially no. Yeah. And then lastly, who works with Adrian at the pet store? Gloria. Okay.
So Ryan, you got 5 out of 5, I guess, huh?
I got 5 out of 5 on that one. Yes, I did. I'm catching.
Nicely done.
What did you get?
I got 4.
Yeah, I also got 4. Okay, Ryan, you have 14. I also have 14. And Katie, you have 12.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Oh, I know.
Well, men are smarter than women. That's all we know about that.
Are we ending this year?
Yeah, we're ending this year. So what's the bum count?
Okay, so we had 1 bum this episode. There's going to be 2 more coming up in this scene. That's why I was going to ask.
Oh.
We're up to 12 bums so far.
Hey, did anybody put if they got the banners correct in the...
Oh, no one actually answered. They answered other things.
Okay.
Yeah, they're saying we should have got bonus points for Hammond but no. I just want to say again, if you're listening to this on iTunes or wherever it is that you listen to our podcast, send us an email. Check out the show description what that email is. I always forget. I think it's One More Round, Rocky Podcast. The show description will show you the email address. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Of course, we're part of the Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. I'm terrible for not plugging that. I guess the reason why I never plug it is because I freaking run the network, and I just feel like I'm the one that shouldn't have to plug it. But check us out on the network. There's a lot of great shows on there. Tim, one of the hosts from the Round 14 podcast, he's actually hung out the whole episode today in our Discord. So thank you so much, Tim. Tim and Tony run that podcast.
Hey, Tim.
They do a great job.
It is good.
They're very good. They're down-to-earth guys. Their banter is really cool, and they have a really good rapport with themselves and the audience. We're a little bit more irreverent than they are.
Now, one of them, I apologize for, maybe this is where you're going. Is this the show where it's very clear one of them is Canadian?
Tim, yeah.
Where is he from in Canada?
Ontario, I believe. Tim is actually a fan of the Edmonton Oilers, I believe, as well. So
Nice.
Kyle really perked up at that.
Yeah.
He was mad at Katie's team for knocking out the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah.
I know. What the Katie? I thought we were friends.
I don't know. I mean...
Tim and Tony's show, I just want to say the Round 14, their Instagram account, so they have a Round 14 Instagram account, Sly, like the official Sly Instagram account, run by Sly, and I do have it on good authority, and this is to show Tim and Tony some love here. I do have it on good authority from somebody I talked to outside the podcast, that Sly does run his account. Because you know how some celebrities don't?
Yeah.
They have people that handle their accounts. I would assume somebody might handle Sly's video editing before it goes live or whatever and stuff like that. However, when Sly writes on Instagram, it's Sly writing. So Sly follows Tim and Tony's Round 14 podcast. So the official Sly account. I'm happy for Tim and Tony, but this is where I starts to sting after a while. I'm not going to lie to you.
I know.
You know,
you guys, he uses, or his team, he's only on Instagram. They use software to push it out to the other social channels. You would never see your Twitter stuff. Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, the show's on Instagram. It's fine. Of course, I would love it. And I've gotten close in the sense of I talked to people that have him on speed dial, and I've got a couple questions that were thrown. And I know Sly knows about the podcast. Like, he knows. Mm-hmm. It's just, congratulations, Tim and Tony. I'm really happy for you.
You're basically Paulie on the couch when he finds out Rocky's making the fight and he's all depressed with his beers.
No, it's in Rocky 3 when Rocky's rising, the beginning montage, and they pan to Paulie. Somehow he's angry for like drinking his Four Roses.
He's going to a pinball machine.
Tim says, thanks, guys. Thanks for giving us a shout-out. No problem. Hey, don't thank us for the shout-out. You got the Sly shout-out. Donald says that Sly's ducking me like Clubber Lang. Louise says Sly has permanently placed me on Skid Row. And Sly says, Ryan, you've wasted our time, sir.
You can't podcast.
No, I love it. No.
I don't mean to tease you. You Smeal mainly. No. You're the man. You're the heart and soul of the podcast.
Stop it. There's a weird small part of me that almost hopes he never does, because then it kills the bit. And then it's like, oh, all right. It's kind of fun to always be the outside guy who never gets the love from the man himself. But anyways, we'll see.
Your fantasies can't come true because inevitably you'll be disappointed by them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe Sly's nervous to talk to me because I'm going to ask the tough questions.
You're a really good interviewer, so you would do a great job.
Oh.
You would do an excellent job interviewing Sly.
Oh, okay. All right. Now you guys, okay. All right. Go back to teasing me. Now I don't like these compliments. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. If you haven't already joined our Discord, today was an amazing full house. I think we had up to 10 people in our chat. That's a lot, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It adds to the fun, and then you don't have to wait for the edits. You get to see all the crap that I edit out, good or bad, the jokes that don't land. I try to make myself look better than Katie and Kyle. So anyways, I think the episode's over.
I didn't hear no bell.